Welcome to AstroEnergy with astrologer angel Shelley Overton. Hi, and welcome to the December 5th, 2017 edition of the AstroEnergy Astrology Show. Hey, my name is Shelley Overton. I'm an astrologer in Orlando, Florida, and it is a chaotic, schizophrenic day, I guess you would say. I woke up and it was so chilly, and I think now it's kind of warmed up, and it was kind of clear sky, and now it's fluffy clouds, and then there was some overcast, and now it's all, a combination. So I don't think it knows what it wants today. So anyway, welcome. I'm excited to be here with you today. We're going to talk astrology. We're going to take some phone calls. We're going to answer questions. And the phone number is 347-994-3365 if you are interested in getting a reading. When you call in, just press the little 1 on the keypad, and that lets me know that you want a reading. So, what has this week been like? It's been an interesting week. Definitely Mercury has gone retrograde, and so now that was Sunday, and now we are in the retrograde period, but I can tell you I was feeling it all last week, and because I have not only a sun in Virgo, which means my sun sign rulership is Mercury, because Virgo's ruled by Mercury, that means that my my grounding and my sense of self is influenced highly by Mercury. And not only that, I have 3 other planets in Virgo. So when Mercury, including Mercury, so when Mercury goes retrograde, definitely my world gets turned upside down a lot. And I know that recently there was a retrograde that didn't seem to affect me as much. I can't remember what it was. I was thinking it was maybe Pisces, Mercury in Pisces, but I don't know why that would be. It's an opposition. Probably I have a Saturn in Pisces. Maybe that's it. Anyway, this retrograde is completely in the sign of Sagittarius, which squares Virgo, and it squares Pisces, and it opposes Mercury ruled Gemini. So if you're any of those signs, you're definitely going to feel this. And I mean, probably a little bit more powerfully than the other signs, although everybody's going to feel it. We're having a lot of technical issues going on right now. And my gosh, yesterday there was something going on. What was it? I posted on Facebook. Let me just call it up real quick here, because I know there was some story that completely aligned with this energy and what it was, and I posted it. And of course, Mercury retrograde, everything on my computer is going slow. And I have a brand new computer, and I had to get it during a retrograde. I believe I got it during the last retrograde. It was like my computer, and this is part of the retrograde, when astrology and you're like, I don't want to get a new computer during Mercury retrograde, because I know every time Mercury retrogrades, I'm going to have computer issues. And that was how I was. And I pushed it off as far as I could. And then, of course, the last retrograde did in my computer, and it refused to work at all. Basically, the screen just went black and nothing worked. So I had to get a new computer. And, of course, it was retrograde. So now I'm going to have issues with my computer in retrograde. And sure enough, I upgraded my computer this week. I don't even know what I was thinking. I started the upgrade. I'm like, crap, Mercury's retrograde. What was I thinking? And then once I upgraded it, now I have this glitch where the top bar that tells me which app I'm in, it tells me the date and the time and gives me access to files and things. It disappears every time my computer either goes to sleep or overnight when it reboots. So every time I come back to my computer in a day, I have to go back up and go into the preferences and tell it, no, you've got to reduce it so I can see this bar across the top. So word to the wise, don't upgrade during a Mercury retrograde. Don't get in if you can avoid it, and back everything up. But the other thing in Mercury retrograde is that you may have these issues while Mercury is retrograde, and this is probably why I postponed getting a new computer, is because they will go back to normal after the retrograde. A lot of them, they will suddenly work properly again. And so, I know we live in a society where it's, oh, no, everything that happens during a Mercury retrograde is permanent and forever. And it isn't necessarily. Well, it isn't most of the time because, of course, it's a transient aspect. And the nature of Mercury is that it is not reliable. It's not stable. It's mercurial. So we see these things and they aren't going to last. But it's really how much stress can you handle in dealing with them. And for me, I didn't really have a choice. It really did die during the retrograde, my computer. And also I got a new phone too, but I got a new phone outside the retrograde, thankfully, because I knew I could push that. So I pushed that. But anyway, that's my Mercury retrograde story. And hopefully you're not dealing or suffering through this as difficultly, if that's even a word. Is that even a word? Probably not. Okay, so today we have, I'm looking at this chart here for the now, and I've got it, actually it's a little bit outdated. The now was at 10:08, so let's do 11:06, and that's Eastern time. We have a Jupiter, Moon, and Neptune grand trine in water. So we have the Neptune at 11 Pisces, Jupiter at 12 Scorpio, and Moon at 11 Cancer. So it's an emotional day, it's a watery day, it's a sentimental day, it's a sleepy day. We're going to definitely go through all the water element things that are associated. So fog, mist, flooding. I know even though I said that, we also have fires that started overnight in California again, 25,000 acres. I just don't even know. I mean, I'm sorry, but they sound suspicious to me. It's like, how does it just suddenly start because it's a windy night? What happened? So to me, it sounds like arson, definitely, but I don't know. I'm just spitballing. But we have Venus at 5 Sagittarius, which is a fire sign. We have Sun at 13 Sagittarius, which is a fire sign. We have Saturn at 28 conjunct Mercury at 28, which is now retrograde. Mercury at 28 degrees Sagittarius. Again, he retrograded at 21. He's now already 1 degree back. So that means every day just about, well, it's a little slow getting back up to speed. He goes about a degree a day. He stopped and then changed direction. So it's taking a little bit longer. So it's not exactly 1 for 1 right now, but it will get there. And he is within the day going to be exact to the minute conjunct Saturn, but he is exact to the degree today. So that means ownership of words. Now, Mercury in Sagittarius, spitting out our version of the truth. And I say our version. I know other astrologers say Sagittarius likes to tell the truth, but everybody has a different truth. And is it still the truth? Yes, a lot of times it is still the truth because it is your reality, your perspective. It's interesting. I'm digressing just a little bit, but when you talk politics, my parents are diametrically opposed to my politics, but I'm very open to trying to understand their point of view. What is it that makes them believe what they believe, because we can go along and just talk about my point of view and this is the right way, which is an ego thing, by the way, or we can actually try to get to the heart of what it is that people believe and why they believe that. So in talking to my parents, I listened to what their perspective was, and also another friend who is, the opposite energy, opposite politics. And what I came to the conclusion of is everybody sees the world from their priorities and their point of view. So they go through life and they glean from their experiences, which are their life facts, based on what they've existed through and expressed in their life. And that gives them the criteria to come to a conclusion. And the conclusions are opinions, but what happens to them is fact. So people live their lives believing something is fact because from their perspective, it happened to them. And how you process it is opinion. And that is how you get your belief, through the value judgment of what happens to you. So when we are looking at politics, it is very charged because it's an emotional thing and an opinion thing. But what it does is it triggers our system of belief about our life and ourself, and it's a very personal thing, which is why politics are so touchy, such a trigger topic for people. And that's also why religion is a trigger topic for people, because it really gets to the heart of what we believe about our lives and what we hold true as our expression in this world. So with all that, we have 4 planets in Sagittarius, and Sagittarius rules spirituality. And like I've said in the past, each sign sets up for the next sign, and the next sign is Capricorn, and Capricorn takes those belief systems and makes them manifest, because Capricorn is an earth sign. So whatever we come to the conclusion of spiritually with Sagittarius, which is what we're really expressing now, when those planets get into Capricorn, which is the end of the year, the beginning of next year, we are going to be challenging our belief systems. For the whole month of December, it really is an interesting time with Mercury retrograde, because Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius has given us that opportunity to really get to the heart of what we believe. We've just gone through this whole finding out new information from everything coming out collectively in politics and in the sexual harassment things and the whole venue around politics, and and in entertainment and all over the board, across the board. We're finding out what's been going on, and now as we go into the latter part of the year, Sun, Mercury, Venus will be getting into Capricorn, joining Pluto just in time to set our New Year's resolutions, which, by the way, will be really good time to make something solid in your world happen. Venus will be at 8 degrees Capricorn, and Saturn will be at 1 degree Capricorn. So Saturn goes into Capricorn on the 20th of December. And so then we'll be seeing a lot more pragmatism, a lot more black and white thinking, and literal thinking. So Venus wants it to be taken care of, and that's probably more likely January, when we'll see the bills come through in Washington about what we're going to do about sexual harassment. Might actually be the beginning of another version of the Equal Rights Amendment. We don't know. I mean, do I consider myself a feminist? Actually, I was about to say I am a femininist. All my Virgo, I'm very, that's another digression I probably shouldn't even get on. I believe in women and men having the same rights, but even more so, I believe in human rights. And I believe that we all deserve certain rights to privacy and, all that. And I think this coming year, we're going to start to see our privacy rights degraded and how they are degraded. I think Uranus going into Taurus is absolutely going to show us the practical side of what's been going on behind the scenes, because Uranus will bring up, it's interesting, another digression, but, it's all astrology, so I'll just say it. Uranus is an energy that is about truth and clarity, but what it does is it shows you the contrast between righteousness and what's been misguided in the view of Aquarius or Uranus, in the view from the perspective of the planet, and that's a humanitarian view. So when the humanitarian planet, who likes clarity, goes into Taurus, which is about women, Venus ruled, it's about money and value of women, ergo, you're going to see this dichotomy. It's almost like, the best way I can describe it is like if you got out of your body and looked back at your life, if you got out of the situation and looked back at what was happening, you could see more clearly. That's what Uranus does. It removes you from the scene by detachment of the emotions, so you can actually gain perspective from all angles, which is what an air sign does. Uranus is the ruler of an air sign, Aquarius. I know it's ironic that it's the water bearer, but it's an air sign. So when we have this energy coming in next year, it absolutely is going to remove us from situations, remove us from the old story, and show us the clarity and the perspective and the truth of what's going on. So that's going to happen in food. It's going to happen with chemicals in food. It's going to happen with our agriculture. It's going to happen. Oh my gosh. I am so, so sorry. I can't believe I was on mute this whole time. Oh my gosh, I don't even know how long I was on mute. Oh, I'm so bummed. Anyway, I think it was from the very beginning of the show, and I had so much information I've been giving you. Oh my gosh. So anyway, apologize. So much information I gave during that, and I was completely muted. And I couldn't even find out because of the chat. I'm Shelley Overton. This is the AstroEnergy Astrology Show. I want to welcome you. I apologize once again for the quietude. Oh my gosh. So, we have some kind of business out here. Hang on a second. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Okay, I don't even know what the. Hold on one second. I don't think this is the right place. No, 140. 198, I believe, is next door. The mailboxes are aligned with the next house. Look at the mailboxes and you'll see the number. Okay, so somebody just gave this awesome popcorn popper, like an old-timey popcorn popper, but it's not for me. So unfortunately, anyway, delivery season. I got to put a number on the house. I have it on the mailbox, but nobody pays attention. Anyway, so my name is Shelley Overton. I'm an astrologer in Orlando, Florida, and I want to welcome you. If anybody can give me a little quickie notice, you probably didn't hear anything I said, so I'm going to give another quick overview so we can take calls. And the call-in number is 347-994-3365 if you would like a reading. Gosh, I'm so bummed that you didn't hear anything I just said because I had a really awesome show going on. But Mercury retrograde, which was kind of the hallmark of everything I said. So Mercury retrograde went retrograde in November 28th. And, it joined with Saturn November 28th. And then it will touch again this Wednesday on Saturn. And then it goes back on the 13th after it gets into Capricorn. It won't join up until the 3 degrees of Capricorn with Saturn again, which will finish the story. So if you're keeping track of that Mercury retrograde, that's what's going on with it. And my gosh, I can't believe it was muted that whole time. Anyway, so I don't even think I said, you're listening to the AstroEnergy Astrology Show here in Orlando, Florida. It's a sunny day. It's on its way up to, I think, about 75, 80. It's going to be gorgeous. And welcome. If you would like a reading and you've called in, hit 1 on your keypad so I know you want a reading. And let's get into some of the information. So coming up later on in the year, we are going to be having this wonderful energy coming in at the beginning of the year for pragmatism and groundedness. And we are going to be seeing all the feminine energy is going to be really strong coming up this year. We've got, today I'm just going to jump back into some of the other stuff because everything I said was gone. Anyway, Jupiter trining, Neptune trining the moon today. We've got Jupiter at 12 Scorpio, Neptune at 11 Pisces, and moon at 11 Cancer. So they're all trining each other, which means there is a really strong water energy going on. By the same token, there's also a very strong fire energy going on. And I find this is really interesting dichotomy going on because recently in November, we had the fires at the same time, the fires in California at the same time we had the hurricanes. And what was going on then was around 25, 26 degrees, Jupiter opposing Uranus in the chart. Right now we have Mars at 27 Libra opposing Uranus in the sky, and we've got fires in California, and I don't know where the flooding is. I haven't looked at the weather in the rest of the country, but with all this trine and water, the grand trine and water, we're probably going to have some flooding somewhere or storms or, weather. We're going to have some interesting issues come up probably with airline travel, transportation is really strong right now. This is an energy of going on, well, actually taking trips, vacations, really strong. And interestingly, I'm going on one myself soon. But Jupiter is foreign travel or long distance travel, and Neptune rules sociability, or at least connection to soul group and people in close sentimental contact, so your beloved, and enjoyment and pleasure, especially with Jupiter. And then we have Moon in Cancer, which makes you kind of want to stick around the house, but because it is in trine with the other planets, it's kind of giving you a sentimental journey, which actually is true for me because I'm joining up with half of my family. My one whole half, my father's side, is all joining us for this vacation. And it's going to be phenomenal and awesome, and very excited for it. But we have that Mercury retrograde, which lets you have difficulty with communications. And if you had heard what I was saying when I was muted, actually, I have a lot of energy in Mercury because I have a Virgo Sun, Virgo Mercury, and Uranus, Pluto in Virgo. So all of that Virgo energy is ruled by Mercury. So every time there's a Mercury retrograde, I get hit really strongly, and more so during the squares to Virgo and the oppositions. So Mercury in Sagittarius squares all that today, which is why I lost 15 minutes of the show. And Mercury conjunct Saturn is ownership of a story that started the 28th of November. So we have that energy. It was a lot of the, and it was also right after Jupiter went into Scorpio as well. So we had all the sexual misconduct and sexual harassment stuff coming out then. So currently we have a lot of that being talked about, and Mercury going retrograde means that we're going to have to take some ownership as a collective in one way or another. First off, Mercury going retrograde back to Saturn and Sagittarius means a lot of the men, I'm noticing the men that have been accused are saying, well, I didn't know who they were, and I'm so sorry if I did anything. It happened with Al Franken. I heard it or read about it today again with Dustin Hoffman was challenged recently by John Oliver on a panel that he was hosting. And apparently there were 2 sexual harassment allegations coming up around Dustin Hoffman, who in that particular interview said, well, I don't remember her, and I apologize for anything that was misconstrued. So that seems to be, I've seen it in at least 3 people. I think Conyers also said it. And, so that's kind of like the current line of responses. Just say you don't remember them and apologize. There are, of course, others where there are just so many that that's not going to happen, and people are getting fired by multiple accusations. And so now with Mercury joining Saturn, we are seeing that, the accusations have to be backed up, and that, we're into that murky area where he said, she said. I kind of commented on this last week, but this is the time for the next few weeks where there's going to be the backlash. There's going to be like, well, I don't remember them, or how can you accuse me? That didn't happen. Denial. And then when Saturn goes into Capricorn, and then Mercury joins back up in Capricorn, that's when the practical, pragmatic rules of conduct with companies, and acknowledging that you can be fired if you do these things, and there's got to be some kind of organizational rule in place that will be utilized. That's what Saturn in Capricorn is going to do, and so we'll see that more coming in the early parts of next year. We will see more women's issues, practical, tangible things, but also, like, I don't think I was mentioning this, or I did mention it, but nobody heard, which is coming up next year, Uranus is going to definitely affect how those energies are seen. And I only said this once, so I'm pretty sure I said it when it was not airing, but Uranus is all angles, and what Uranus does is it removes us emotionally, it detaches us emotionally. And so we can get more clarity about something with the emotional detachment. So it's like events or people, you will pull away and you can see it more clearly, and you have that emotional detachment. And a lot of times people strongly influenced by Aquarius or Uranus in their charts will challenge the norm, challenge the status quo, and they'll do it by showing like devil's advocate. They will express a side that is not being given. They'll basically play the devil's advocate, and then we'll end up seeing, or positively intentional towards saying, hey, look at this, you don't see this, so I'm going to give you the opposite side, the contrary side. So they can be contrarians. They will show that to people. But sometimes, a lot of times, like when I've done it, I've actually done it a lot in my life with my mother, because my mother seems to have flopped her Cancerian chart over to the Capricorn. And of course, having Uranus close to my sun just drives me nuts, that pragmatism, and well, not pragmatism per se, but dogmatism, where you're just stuck in your own belief system and you can't see another side. So I've used it a lot in my life, not to very good results, because it ends up just making me seem like a difficult person, and that is what it can do. So from that standpoint, coming up next year, all the issues, like I said, women's issues, agriculture, money, food, diet, definitely a big one coming up. Our monetary systems and how we see value and where we place value in things, that's going to be challenged, and it's going to be challenged through contrariness. That being said, by those rules of Aquarius and Uranus, when we had the election and there was a moon in Aquarius last year, what did it do? It showed us the contrary point of view. It's contrarian. So that's going to come in around monetary systems and women and everything I just stated. All the Taurian energy, money and beauty, fashion will be affected. So look for that coming up mid-year, and probably actually as we get closer and closer to May 15th, which is when Uranus goes into Taurus, we're going to see more and more of that. It's going to be, I think I'll reiterate the conversation I had with my mother about change and shift. And basically a couple weeks ago, she said that that chaos would come from letting people follow their hearts and follow their own path. And that's what people are going to do. That's what this whole time is about. It's about finding your own path and following your heart. And it's coming. Uranus is going to be ruling an earth sign, or in an earth sign, which is ruling it. And it's going to show us the contrary point of view. So whatever is the norm will be challenged. And that's why I say, the alternate methods of currency are going to be really big coming in. And we've already seen some of that with Bitcoin going to $11,500 for one Bitcoin. And I was amazed at that. I think my son told me, or somebody told me recently, it was like 25 cents when it was first put out on the market. And, it's like a commodity. Now it's 11,500. And of course, what is it? It's the idea of money. But if you are interested in that, I would look into it. It's a really interesting concept and definitely in alignment with Uranus in alternative methods of currency, because what it is people put up their computers as a means to generate this currency. And there are only as many coins as are generated by computers. And the computers are talking to each other. So basically, you sign up to mine, quote unquote, mine this coin. And what happens is that your computer creates the code that will ultimately be a coin. And as these are generated, that adds to the market. So they're always being created, but the amount that are desired per se, it's not a physical, tangible coin like we understand it, but it is a line of code, if I'm correct. And the code is recognized collectively by the computers and by the market. And no one person has ownership of any of those. It is truly a humanitarian idea of money and currency. And it's basically its own thing. It's kind of, I want to say, it's kind of like a virus, that it just keeps generating these coins, and these computers will basically create the currency. And so you have to go on and get a wallet to be able to buy it. And you have to, Europe now is saying that They are not going to allow anonymous currency exchanges because people are, which is honestly a huge part of Bitcoin, is that you can use it anonymously, and you can use money, hard currency now anonymously, but now you're getting on the internet, and Europe doesn't want you to use it anonymously because they can launder money. That way, people who are doing illegal activities are laundering money through Bitcoin. So there's a whole big thing in the news right now, and that is coming in as we gear up towards this Uranus in Taurus. So, yeah. Anyway, do your research and know it's coming, because it is going to seem like chaos as we go into the new year with this energy. But it is also wrapping up the old energy of Uranus in Aries. Of course, Uranus goes direct the 3rd of January. So until then, we are really seeing that last fight for autonomy, independence, and again, the contrariness of Aries energy, which is, what is Aries? Aries is self-promotion, male energy, aggression, assertion, emergencies. It is bringing in this churned up chaotic energy, or basically showing us multiple perspectives on that one topic of masculine energy and assertion, and it's going to transmute into Taurus. So it will bring it down to earth and shift it into feminine. So it's going to be a really big year next year. 2020 is going to be a big year also, and we got so much coming in. But yeah, towards the end of the year, we're going to have all that Sagittarian energy shift and transmute into Capricorn energy, which is part of what I said before I was unmuted. And so as we see Venus, Sun, and Mercury ultimately end up in Capricorn along with Saturn towards the end of this year, we're going to, well, actually Mercury, like I said, is going to be next year when it goes direct and gets back into Capricorn. But let me just double check my numbers. Yeah, it goes in on the 12th. And then, of course, between the 13th and 14th, it joins up with Saturn. So we're going to really see this energy shifting from fire male energy into earth female, earth feminine. And so the things we're going to be doing next year, at the beginning of next year, anything that we're coming in to with money, I mean, Venus goes into Capricorn the beginning of the year. So she'll be right there at 8 degrees and on New Year's Day. So any of our feminine territory, if you make a positive statement for the year, should really settle in. And definitely money goals. I know I'm harping on that, but it is value, personal value, feminine value, and also it can be selling goods, or the retail merchandise is ruled under that. So creating beautiful items. I just bought a couple shares of Etsy because I really think Etsy is going to start to do phenomenal coming up with this earth energy, and creativity is going to be really strong for Etsy, especially now Neptune's direct, and it's going to be sentimental, old school. It's going to be handcrafted. So we're going to see a lot of that coming up, more local, more handcrafted. And yeah, it's going to be exciting. We're going to be doing, I tell you personally, I just found out, and I know I digress, and we're going to get to our readers. I'm going to probably go 10 minutes over because of, coming into this a little bit late with my mic. And so don't worry, I will take calls here in a minute. But yeah, anything that is, I know. I was going to say this. I found out this week because I have a few friends who have thyroid issues, and it just seems like it's getting more and more prevalent. And I know personally, I occasionally have like kind of a sore throat feeling, but not my esophagus or anything, more on the outside where you would have the nodes in the thyroid. I haven't looked into, but I'm also very aware of what it is. So I've stumbled across this information about bromides and bromates being in bread. And I didn't know that, but apparently it makes it really congeal better for yeast, with the yeast, and, stay together better. So a lot of this is in our bread in America. And so what it does is it changes the iodine absorption in your body, and so you're not able to absorb as much iodine, which can be a problem with thyroid, and it also is cancerous and carcinogen. So do some research on that. That's going to be also something that we're going to start seeing more of, is like the chemicals in our foods, what they're doing, and taking more ownership and really being more aware of that. So what happens is America apparently had this particular chemical allowed in bread and bread making, major companies, but when the FDA found out it was carcinogen, they didn't stop it because it was already grandfathered in regulation-wise, and the rules already allowed it, and they couldn't take that off. And this just boggles my mind that you can't take something that's hazardous off or put it on a list of dangerous items. But there are a number of different companies that still make the bread or make the bread without it. And I'm looking into that. I think Oro Wheat is one of them. I'm going to look into that today. But also Italian and European companies outlawed it, and I believe Canada as well. So I was looking into getting some foreign bread, and of course bread from foreign countries. It's not going to be an easy thing to get, much less fresh. So anyway, I was just bringing that up because it kind of illustrates my point around our diet and all of this kind of thing coming in as we are starting to find out more about this, more about what's in our food. Anyway, okay, let me see if there's anything else I want to add about what's going on right now. A moon in Cancer, definitely time for cozying up and being home and wanting to be cuddled and coddled and have some nurturing going on. Today, moon is opposite Pluto, so there is a discussion between how we're going to earn our money and really being able to be at home. A lot of strong energy also around working out of the home still. Tomorrow, there's going to be some more energy around that. And, of course, there could be some balking at this idea of independence also, and having the money coming in around the home and having your business out of the home. Anyway, that's all for right now. I'm going to take a quick break, and then we'll come right back and take calls. Yay. Oh my gosh, it seems Christmas decorations appear earlier every year. What next? After the 4th of July? I know I've found myself saying this very same thing. It may seem that the Christmas season is encroaching on Thanksgiving, but with more people out as the clock strikes midnight on Black Friday, it makes sense to get a head start. This year, you'll be able to shop for everyone on your list at one place and online. With the bright, whimsical, and realistic art options at charmhollow.com, you are bound to find art for everyone's taste. But if it isn't art you want, we have photography too. If you like Disney, you will find items with Cinderella's castle on them. If you're a Harry Potter fan, we have photos of Diagon Alley. And we have mugs, t-shirts, shower curtains, phone cases, and chargers. We also have tote bags as well as art prints of all sorts and greeting cards. With reasonable prices and in support of the arts, stop by charmhollow.com. You'll be glad you did. And welcome back. You are listening to the AstroEnergy Astrology Show on Blog Talk Radio. My name is Shelley Overton. I am an astrologer in Orlando, Florida, and I am very happy to give you a reading today. And if you would like one personally off air, you can go to astrologerangel.com and see what I do over there. You can get horoscopes every day, and that's like a daily horoscope for your personal understanding. You can find your rising sign over there. If you don't know what your rising sign is, but you know your birth time, you can go there and find a little widget that'll tell you what your rising sign is. So that can be really helpful as well. Okay, let's get back to our callers. So we'll take 818. Hi, 818. How are you?
Hi. I am fabulous, and it's
how are you, Diane?
California, and those fires that came out. Wow,
I know,
you're
right?
They were saying like in 1 second they were burning the size of a football field. So
it's crazy. 50 to 60 mile an hour winds. It's intense. I mean, I feel so bad.
I have a swimming pool, and I have to clean the filter like every hour because it's the leaves from all the trees. Anyway, so
are you in California?
I'm in California, Southern Cal.
Oh, okay.
I'm in I'm not in Ventura County, but I'm not that far away.
Oh my gosh.
So we have a lot of wind too. But what I'm sharing, what I would love to ask is about the two charts. You have me and my guy, and he's in July. Can you tell me, because we're not speaking already, and I'm wondering what you could share if you see anything at this time. I know it's retrograde. Maybe we'll make up. Maybe. I don't know.
Okay. I'm looking in all my charts, and I have to tell you, once I change my computer, I have this, I don't know, I can't find things. And I know I've done it. I know I've saved it, but it's not here. So if you don't mind giving me that. I do have yours.
July 27,
okay.
1950.
Okay. And where and when?
Oh, no time, Philadelphia.
No time, Philadelphia. Okay. Hang on a second. Okay. So what is it you would like to know?
If you see a reconciliation.
Okay.
Does the chart even tell us that or not? It's more of a...
hang on one second. I just want to double check because, again, another glitch, Mercury retrograde. His birthday is July 20th, 1950.
27.
July 27. Okay, I'm glad I asked. I put it in there, but I didn't think it was going to delete it, and of course it did. So I had to do it again. I swear, I don't know how I'm going to make it through this. Yeah, this retrograde is not a fun one, and I'll be traveling, which really makes me skittish, of course. So, yeah, hang on. I'm just doing little
it's
admin
always
here.
Fun to travel. Traveling is always fun, though.
It is.
You always meet the funnest people, especially.
I know. Oh, I hope so.
Yeah.
I'm excited, but long airplane flights and during Saturn and Mercury and Sag, I'm like, oh, why does it have to be then? But it was a
you could have a whole
trip,
course on the airplane. If there's an issue, you could just run the airplane. So let's do a class in astrology. I'll tell you why.
No, yeah. Well, I've done the numbers, and I do know that one of the flights is a concern. But I'm gonna drink.
Okay, and believe
well,
your odds are so
much
more in your favor.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, I really, I look back over my history flying, and I've flown a lot, and I always have a really nice time, and everything goes well for the most part. And my sister's she works for Boeing, so she's like, it's nothing. And I'm like, okay.
Exactly. So you really probably fly a lot, more than any of us. That's fabulous.
Yeah, I do a good amount of flying. I probably once or twice a year, usually. So, which is a lot for me. But anyway, so your guy. So sentimentally, let's see. Yeah, because Neptune always brings people back. I'm going to do a chart with him and what's going on for him right now, so I can just see where he's kind of coming from. If my computer will do that will you do that for me, computer? There we go. Yeah, Duncan. My computer's name is Duncan. He's not being very nice right now. Okay. Let's see what's going on. Moon is on Uranus for him in the 12th house, so he's definitely. Does he work out of the home? Out of curiosity, he's got Uranus in the 12th.
He's retired. He works.
Oh, he's retired. Okay, good.
Yeah, he's always putzking around his house with his plants and his whatever. He has projects.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that. Uranus in Cancer is he's very creative around the home, inventive around the home. Mars is in a Mars return, or just an expiring Mars return, and so he's looking to. I would say Mars into Scorpio. Let me see when that happens. The 10th of December he's gonna want more of a commitment. I'm gonna look at your chart more specifically, and honestly, it's kind of easier for me to tell what's going on with you as far as people coming back in. And of course, you've got a Cancer rising, and he's got Leo because he has a sunrise chart. Right? I did a sunrise chart for him, so his sun is in Leo, and so you both. Based on his sunrise chart and your natal chart, you both have Mars going through the house of home and family. there is some opportunity for some change and shift back to commitment. And you know what I get is that he definitely sees you as like home. Like he's got this really strong connection to you emotionally. Do you feel that? I mean, obviously you had something when you were together.
Yeah,
but,
totally. 100%.
Yeah.
Because it's so easy and we're so compatible and we're very domestically inclined.
Remind me what happened. Why did you two, is it because he's far away?
No, it's because he travels and he doesn't always take me. And then, and then I get upset and I don't trust him and I.
Yeah, and you know what? I want to tell you, just as a woman-to-woman thing, not necessarily trusting somebody who's always traveling is probably a good thing on your part.
Right.
Because it can mean, I mean, I'm sorry. Like, I'd like to think, for many years, I like to just think that it's fun and adventure having that Sagittarius energy. But you've got 4 planets in your house of romance in Sagittarius right now. And even though it's in your house of romance and travel, it can mean that there are other people. And that's, I mean, when Sagittarius enters it, I usually assume that there's someone else. And he doesn't have, he has no planets in Sagittarius in his chart. He only has Chiron in Sagittarius. So there may have been a wounding in his life that's associated with someone not being faithful. And, that there may be that energy. And I mean, it could be him or it could be that he was exposed to it, but it's definitely a point in his chart where there is trouble. And his healing has to revolve around that kind of energy of not being truthful or faithful and honest is his storyline around being hurt. So, yeah, also his illusions around romance have probably also hurt him because his Jupiter in the house of commitment is squaring that Chiron in Sagittarius in romance. So he's got a little of that going on. But is he coming back in? Let me put it this way. Definitely, I think that you have a connection that sometimes doesn't want to die. And I'm not saying that it should, but
you're right. Maybe it should, because there's more. It seems like we're apart more than together lately.
Yeah, it's kind of the sense that I feel you. I'm always feeling you, and yet it's not necessarily manifesting. So let me just look at a few of these dynamics going on here. So for you, you've got Neptune in the 8th. So definitely, I think what that's doing, and it's going to do it for a long time, is like you really do want to commit to a person with an energy that feels comfortable and feels familiar to you. Because Neptune and Pisces, which Neptune's in right now, is all about familiarity and psychic connection, like a really, hey, I know you, I understand. That could happen for you, but let me see where his stuff is. He's got Jupiter at 6 Pisces. That falls in your house of commitment. Neptune just went direct last week, so I do think that there is a possibility that he's going to come back in for you. I see that that's a strong possibility that you're going to hear from him.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when you said December 10th, did you mean, is that a possibility on the 10th?
That particular day, I don't know if it'll happen on that day. It's definitely a strong moment of shift, but really it's probably going to be closer to around Christmas time or between Christmas and New Year's, because that's when Mars actually triggers Neptune, and it also triggers I was going to say your moon, but your moon's at 27. So it's probably, it's the commitment. The Neptune in the 8th house of commitment is going to be more triggered when Mars gets into Scorpio. So, that's actually any time after it goes in, but I would say closer to the end of the year. Yeah, okay. I think it's going to be that sentimental point, Pardon me?
I'm happy to hear that, because I wasn't sure.
Yeah, let me look at him real quick and see what he's got. I really think that this is what I think with him. Right now, throughout the month of December, I think that he's traveling, like you said, but it's play, and there may be somebody else that he's interacting with, but all of that all that energy that he's enjoying right now is going to go into that Capricorn energy at the end of the year and the beginning of next year, which is much more about the pragmatism. And what happens is Mercury will go there, like I said, in January. Saturn will be in Capricorn in January. Venus and Sun will be, and it'll join up with his moon in Capricorn. And that's about commitment and tangibility and structure. So when that happens, that's probably the time, and that happens closer to the end of the year. So what's going to happen for him is all those planets, including Venus, are going to start triggering his moon and his desire to be around somebody he's familiar with, somebody who's nurturing and somebody who's more committed. And, it could be the old, again, because moon in Capricorn is the elderly. It's like an older energy, which means master energy and someone that he's already familiar with. So if it's going to happen, it's probably going to happen at the end of the year, the beginning of next year.
Oh,
yeah.
Boy. I'm so happy to hear that, really and truly.
Yeah.
It means a lot.
Got a lot of, like, he wants it to be more tangible next year. So what I can tell you right now, that what's going on in his chart with all the enjoyment of play and fun, it's really great. I mean, I don't deny anybody having fun, but his chart, he's got Libra, which is he has to be in a relationship. He's got Pluto and Leo, which again is connecting one-on-one to people. He's got Mars, Jupiter, Sun in Taurus, which again is stability, tangible, earthbound commitment, and he's got moon in Cancer. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh my God. Oh, I totally had the wrong one. That's you, but he still has all those planets. I'm sorry. He's got 3 Leos, Saturn in Virgo, Mars in Libra, Neptune in Libra. So he still has those Earth. He's got Earth, fire, and a little bit of water. He doesn't have any of. Let me see. He has fire in Leo, and Leo fire is relationship fire. Sagittarius isn't a commitment sign, but he only has Chiron there. So really for him, it's about what is the commitment, and can he trust that partner, and is he trustworthy of that partner? Because I can tell you, wherever the wounding is, there's also the other dynamic where if he's being wounded, he also has some of the dynamic where he attracts it. So
exactly. Of course. That's so
there could be a little of that.
That's so easy to hear.
Yeah, but I can tell you
that's
that
life, really.
I'm going to just tell you, Saturn and Sag on his Chiron means he probably wanted some fun and some playfulness, and he wanted to not be committed. Saturn going into Capricorn, he does want commitment, and he's going to get over that, and it has to be more tangible for him, and that's coming up. So I think that if he was out there playing the field, so to speak, he's probably coming back in alignment with the rest of his chart. Like, definitely his Leo in the first house, people were finding him attractive, and he was probably wanting to pursue it. But as Saturn goes into Capricorn, it's going to be, actually it's in conjunct to his Sun, his Pluto, and his Mercury in Leo. So Leos are going to have a little bit more difficult time for the next 2.5 years with that, having to be more practical and pragmatic about the expression of their energy. It's not as much childlike energy for the next couple of years. It's much more the parent as opposed to the kid. And the last 2.5 years has been about being a kid again. The next 2.5 is going to be about being responsible adult and a parent.
Oh, boy, that's interesting. That's powerful. I love that.
So anyway, that's what's going on there. So
that's a lot, and that makes me so uplifted. It does. It really does. You have no idea, because I am attached to when I have, and and when you're, it feels so much. So I'm excited to talk to you. That was so wonderful, Shell. And I know you're going to have the best vacation. You're so lucky. It's the right time to travel. I mean, everyone's in an upbeat mood.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I think it is going to be, honestly. I think it was brought together from the other side, because everybody is going to be there. My sister, my aunts and uncles, like all 5 kids in my dad's family will be there, and it'll be really amazing. So
amazing.
It's going to be,
take pictures.
it's going to
be
like
know.
It's kind of like an early Christmas, and so I'm excited. I'll let you know all about it when I get back.
Yay.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
That's
Anyway,
great.
well, you take care and have.
Thank you,
I'll
Val.
probably be on the air before Christmas, but happy holidays. Okay.
Holidays. Thank you, and the same to you.
Yeah.
God bless.
You're
Bye,
welcome.
Shell.
Okay. Take care. Bye. All right. Let's take 931. Hi, 931. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well. Who am I talking to?
My name is Maggie.
Okay, wonderful.
And
Just give me a second here. I'm just setting up your chart, and so that way, if you call another time, I can get it. Okay. Tell me your birth information
great.
quick, and then you can tell me what it is you're calling in about. Okay?
Oh, okay, sure. It's 1961, and I don't know the time. I believe it was evening, but I don't really know.
Okay, so why don't we do 5 p.m. And where were you born?
New Jersey, Dover.
Dover. Okay, thanks. Let me just get that put in. What are you calling about today?
Just in general. I have a lot of things like happening right now, and like it's crazy busy, and I think I have a great relationship, and I just started a new job, but there are family members that are sick, and yeah, and so I'm just wondering what's coming up.
Okay. Well, yeah, in the chart I have, I'm doing a 5 p.m. You have a Cancer rising. So I'm assuming that means that you're kind of a homebody. Do you enjoy being around the home more? Okay.
Oh, I do.
Okay. I'm guessing that's probably a good rising guess for you. And you also have Mars in Cancer. So that kind of punctuates it. Yeah. With a Cancer rising, all of your Capricorn planets, which there are 4 of them, for those keeping score at home, it's Jupiter in Capricorn, Sun in Capricorn, Saturn in Capricorn, and Mercury in Capricorn. They're all in your house of health. And so, Jupiter is like education, travel, and fun and excitement. But in Capricorn, it can be very practical about those things. Education, you are a teacher by nature and possibly even a teacher by profession. You've got Saturn in the 6th house, which is the Virgo house, tends to be really great teachers. But also in Capricorn, you appreciate and you do well in a structured environment. So you're kind of more like either corporate or business or something that has a structure, which could also be education. But that's really something that you prefer, and honestly, life purpose-wise, that would be the realm that you excel in. And you're really good with the elderly if you haven't figured that out. Are you attracted to that, like tradition and all that? Is that something that you do?
That's funny because I just got out of that.
Okay.
Yes.
That's Pluto. Pluto is on your Saturn right now. That's why. Major life change.
I did. I did home health for years, and I just got out of it. Yeah, and went back into business.
Okay, so that's going to probably be where you need to be, at least for the next couple of years. You've got Saturn. You're going into a Saturn return. Honestly, I want to say, for some reason, you're a little young for retirement, but this is setting you up to have a really solid retirement, and that's something that makes you feel good. Probably being with all the Capricorns, like, no, we have to have our ducks in a row. So
security.
Yeah, exactly. So Pluto going through your Capricorn. I just feel for you because Pluto is major life change, and what it does is it brings out the hidden and seeks out information that has not previously been seen. So you've been having a lot of stuff come out, like in a way, you've kind of been exposed over the last, you're not even at your Pluto conjunction with your Sun. The way my computer has it set up, it looks like Pluto's almost ready to go into the 7th, but it really is almost ready to touch your Sun. And the way I have it in my chart, visually it looks like it's already way past your Sun, but really technically is 2 degrees off of your Sun. So it's about to join it, which means there is a major life change going on with how you see yourself. And honestly, what it's really trying to do, you've always been a responsible person, But what it's saying is now you're a master. Now you're the master of your domain, and you need to see yourself as a master and no longer the person who is always like, I'm striving to be that person. No, you are that person. And I mean, I'm in similar generation. I was born in 64. So I understand, like, coming into this time of our lives, like, oh my gosh, I've always been the one striving to be taken creditably, and now you are that person. Now you're the one in charge, and you're put in that position, and you have to see yourself that way. Does that sound like how it's been for you, or have you always been like, no, I'm always taking care of everything?
Oh no, yes, and I'm going to tell you how exact you are, okay? Because something happened to me. Happened to me the other day. I'm standing in front of the mirror, and it was like, I can't even explain it, what happened, but it was a different awareness.
Yeah.
I was doing something in the mirror, I can't remember, and all of a sudden it was like, it was more like an awareness, like I was beside myself.
Yep.
I can't even explain it.
I know, it's like you were outside
thing.
yourself looking in.
Yes.
Yeah,
and
you
I
saw
was
yourself
like,
from another perspective. Yep.
I did, and it was the strangest thing. It's never happened to me before.
Wow.
And I was
and
like,
I can tell you know what that is? That's Uranus at 24 degrees Aries. So Aries rules our visage, how we see ourselves in the, like, physically. And Uranus, like I said, I don't know if you heard in the beginning of the show, it's where you're removed and you're from the outside looking back at it and you see it from a new perspective. That's what it is. And interestingly, in your chart, Uranus falls in the Capricorn house, the 10th house. So not only is it up there in the Capricorn house, influencing Capricorn, but all your Capricorn planets, like especially your Mercury right now, is in square to it. So what it's doing is it's challenging your view of who you are and saying, who am I? I'm outside myself. And for you, it sounds like it physically happened like that. And that's what that was. And yeah, and Pluto, again, Pluto's rotor-rooting your Sun, your Saturn, and your Mercury. And so what it's doing is it's really honestly very much like rotor-rooter, and it's clearing out the old caked, dried energy that's around, associated with how you see yourself, how you see your life purpose, which, by the way, all your life has been very connected. You are your life purpose. Saturn is life purpose, Sun is ego. So you are so connected to that. And then, oh my gosh, the Sun, Mercury, Saturn, they're all in, like, even Jupiter, but Jupiter's 3 degrees off your Sun. Sun at 19, Saturn at 20, Mercury at 21. They're clustered. And so how you express yourself, how you see yourself is very rooted and very practical and down to earth. But Pluto wants to show you your value in a new way. And it's only 5 degrees off of going into partnership, which, let me see how far it gets next year. Partnership is at 22 degrees for you. And it's right at the end. It'll probably get there at the end of 2019. And I can tell you, 2020 is a huge, huge year for the world. And I mean, it's Uranus aspects and Saturn joins up with Pluto. It's major world changes around ideology, around structure, and you are right on that cutting edge with your Capricorn energy and Pluto going into your house of partnership. And it's just this huge time of shift around ideology. So having Pluto on these planets for you is really readying you for what's coming in the next 2.5 years, especially Saturn, as it's your second Saturn return, which means this is the time, again, when you are the authority, and it's such a strange thing for me in my generation, like how old I am, and I'm the same age as you practically. It's like we were always the radical youth, it's like, well, you've got Uranus in Leo. I have Uranus in Virgo joining Pluto in Virgo. So, you've got Pluto in Virgo, but you have Uranus in Leo. So you're kind of right at the end of that generation that was, well, Uranus and Leo wants to make everything unusual around the public eye and around entertainment and around, like, your generation brought in probably, I would say, the reality TV shows and storylines that are unusual and things like that. but the Virgo Pluto, that energy really wants to change health issues and the practical things around education and all the Virgo energy. Virgo is like learning and education and analysis and criticism and critical and just critical thinking around how you're valued. It is our generation's lesson and expression and part of our purpose collectively to the whole, to bring out ideas around health, ideas around education and service. Those are that's our territory. And with all your Capricorn in that house, it's part of your life purpose to really bring a new vision for education and health and those kind of things. So it's not surprising you're going through family health issues, because that's such a huge part of your life purpose and what you're about in this plane. So, and it's also where all of your Capricorn planets are. So it is going to resolve. It's going to take a couple of years probably to really feel how it is going to resolve, but Saturn is going to help you understand it. And Pluto can be major life change around death and rebirth. So, it's not something I like to say, but there probably is a little bit of saying goodbye to people with this transit. As Pluto is teaching you about death and birth and how to get through the process of dying and, moving on. And you can bring that into what you do. I'm sure you have already done, but that's what Pluto is about, the death process. So it's giving you a new dimension to what you do. So
yeah, and that's really true too, because I've experienced some deaths too, and in the past couple of years that have been really hard to get over. And,
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, really close people, but
yeah.
So do you pick up anything like spiritually in your readings, or?
Yeah, I mean the spiritual stuff for you. Well, again, it's the 9th house, which Neptune just like probably this year went into your house of spirituality and religion. And the 9th house is religion and Pisces is spirituality, and the combination is just driving you further into that world. And it's going to be a 14-year transit. So you've got a good long time to really explore your spiritual side and your intuition.
Oh, yeah.
It's coming. It's already there for you. But yeah, really strong stuff. And creativity too. I want to say this is a really great aspect for like getting into poetry and photography and anything that would be like art. You might want to explore some of that. You have natal Neptune at 11. Matter of fact, you have a Neptune trine right now. Exact. So yeah, it's about playing with creativity and expression that can very much include spirituality, but also dreams. Start a dream journal. That's what you need to do. And then write poetry and start a dream journal. Those are the two things.
Okay.
Those are your homework chores. Okay.
Okay, I will.
It was good talking
to you.
Thank you. All right, take care. Bye, Maggie.
Okay, bye-bye. Bye. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, I'm going to take one quick question from one last caller if I don't get cut off. Hi, 303. What can I do for you?
Hey, Shelley. It's nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you. Who is this?
Joella. I'm in Colorado.
Joella, what a cool name. Oh, okay. Oh, awesome. Do I know you from somewhere else?
No.
Okay,
maybe maybe a past life thing, but
Okay, wonderful. I've got a little bit of an echo, just so you know, if there's any way to turn down my show in the background. If it's there, I don't know. Maybe it doesn't. But...
All right. Is that better?
Yeah. What's your birthday? And then you can tell me what you're calling about, because I don't have a whole lot of time. I may get cut off any time, so real quick.
Okay, 10/13/59.
Okay, 13/19. Where were you born?
Washington, D.C., 5:37.
Okay, AM or PM?
PM.
Okay, great.
So I've got everything. I'm familiar with my chart. I've got everything sitting at the top. So I've got all the planets going across the midheaven, if you could tell me what that is. And the Pluto square the sun.
Okay.
And I heard you.
I have to ask you your date once again, because my computer's acting all wonky. 1957? No.
No.
Tell me your birthday.
10/13.
Yeah.
59.
Got it. 59.
Yeah.
We're good. There we go. All right, save. Okay, anyway, so say again what you need. You know your chart pretty well.
Yeah. So I've got Pluto square the sun.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do you read that when it's within 2 degrees, or it's been going on for a while, or?
No, Pluto squaring the sun's going to be a fairly long-term transit. Let me just find that in your chart. Yeah, unfortunately, right? Yeah, and it's right on. Oh no, hang on. Let me just. It's just been a difficult day astrologically. I'm just going to call it like it is on the show because
fine.
Mercury.
And you weren't missing as long as you thought you were either.
Really? Oh, okay. Because I thought I muted when I started the show, and then it was like 20 after when I noticed it was blinking. I'm like, no, it was such a good show. Anyway, I'm just going to double check. October 13th, 1959, 5:37 p.m. Washington, D.C.
Right.
Okay. Well, I've got Saturn at your midheaven, you said? Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Pluto is going to be there for a while. I would honestly, I mean, because Pluto's so slow moving, when it squares, it's going to influence you. You know, I use an 8-degree orb, which is just a flat 8 degrees. Some people use smaller orbs for different planets. I use the 8 degrees. What I learned is what I know. I'm just stick with it. It's fine. Especially with a slower moving planet, you will feel it. I think it might start. The other thing is, as it moves away, it'll feel less and less. And so once it's past that 19 degrees, it's going to feel a little bit better because it's not an applying aspect. It's a transient leaving aspect. So it will be there, but it'll be like, okay, wrapping up the story. So really until it passes that 19, which I'm guessing is probably all the way through the end of next year. Let me see. Yeah, it's at 1920 next year. You might have 2 to 3 years where it's really going to be peaking. And then I would say definitely 2020, 2021, you'll get rid of it a little bit more.
Nice.
And again, like I said, that's the year 2020 vision. You know, it's really an awakening year. And if you can think of it as seeing what you needed to know and moving you into a better phase, especially for you, it's a new career phase. But it's probably a little bit more of a struggle with relationships. But the positive side is Jupiter is now in a cooperative sign to Pluto instead of a square to it. So, you know, I think the saving grace for you is just knowing the energy of the planets that are in positive aspect to your Pluto and how to work those. And that will kind of be like, okay, I know it's really uncomfortable ego-wise, but it also means Jupiter is coming into your house of commitment. And so it's expanding your awareness of your value, and it will set you up to have a relationship that is conducive to someone who really appreciates you. So, and so also it could, I was going to say it influences your career as well. So there could be more cooperation around your value within your career. What were you going to ask?
So would you say that it like removes what isn't going on to the future?
What it's done, Jupiter especially, what it did, and because it was squaring Pluto, it got rid of, it showed you things that didn't work for you because they weren't in alignment with who you truly were. And so that energy is on its way out, especially today you have a Mars return, and Mars is at that trigger point opposite Uranus. So it is kind of like, this doesn't work for me in your house of partnership. As it goes into the 8th house, you start to say, no, my value, you already started feeling it with the Jupiter and Libra. My value is better and I need something that's more aligned with who I am. Jupiter and Scorpio is like, nope, there is no alternative. I have to have someone who gets me. I have to have somebody who is in alignment with my vision. And in positive aspect to Pluto, the major life change can come in an expression to your career, because this coming 2.5 years, Saturn is in Capricorn in your house of career at your midheaven on December 19th, 20th, right before it goes into Capricorn. It'll be on your midheaven. You have the 29 Sagittarius midheaven. So big shifts and changes. I would say last thing I probably have time to tell you is move. There's a move coming, and if it's not within your house, your home, it's definitely within your career. And again, like the last lady, it's about really coming into your authority in the workplace and who you are.
And so the Saturn return, because the Saturn return is going to happen at the same time.
Yes, it's all the same thing. Yep.
As when Saturn changes sign.
Yeah, you will feel much better about that Saturn when Mercury gets to Saturn next year. And that's, like I said, around the 13th of January. That's when it's going to feel like you're probably going to get the offer. You're probably going to be more in alignment with what you are really trying to do with your career. So.
Interesting. All right, nothing's changed yet. Seen it,
well, we've got some shifts. You still, all the planets in Sag are really the energy of the learning. Being in that ninth house, it's still getting your ducks in a row and really having the final lessons before you become the master. Again, this is really 28 is taking more responsibility for your life purpose. This is like being the one in charge of it, the master, as opposed to, okay, now I know what I want to do. This is like, no, now I know who I am, and this is what it is. So it's like the next level. So, okay. And you do have trines. You have Earth trines. So work the planets that work for you and try and diminish the ones that are more difficult if you can.
Okay.
All right. Thanks so much for the call. Take care.
All right. Have a great Christmas. Thank you.
Thanks. You too. All right. Bye. And that's the show for this week. Thank you for joining me, and thanks for putting up with all the strange wonkiness. Talk to you soon. Bye. Thanks for stopping by AstroEnergy this week. If you would like to get a hold of Shelley Overton, you can get her at astrologerangel.com, on Facebook at AstroEnergy or Astrologer Angel. The music was provided by Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com, with additional music by Ironwood Rain. Check them out on the net at ironwoodrain.com. To subscribe, please click the picture of Shelley on the right or the red button below.